Hello and welcome to the first week of the DARCA Kids Summer Program. For those of you who maybe just found this video, we are having a 4-week self-paced activities that follow along with the DARCA Kids Water Handbook. And we are so excited to kind of show you all what we have going on this summer and to really help these activities come to life off the page. My name is Michaela. I am the DARCA Communications and Outreach Director. Water is so important to our next generation, and the way we steward that water resource is going to be vital for how we work as a society, and teaching that to the next generation is so important. And so that's what really this next 4 weeks will cover. A little bit about me. I grew up in Greeley, Colorado. I graduated from CSU with a degree in soil and crop sciences, and I love spending time with my family and dogs, as you can see here. If you hear them in the background, that's probably they're running around or barking at our neighbors. That's usually how that goes. A little bit about DARCA. We are the Ditch and Reservoir Company Alliance. We're a membership organization that serves water delivery users. We help with advocacy, information exchange, and networking to really, again, make sure those water resources are being stewarded effectively, especially for the water delivery community. Okay, let's kind of take an overview look here. So our 4-week lineup looks like this. So for week 1, we will have weekly activities sent out today, July 15th. And then our first Water Wednesday will be July 20th. And then July 20th through 21st, we will have a Creative Kids Workshop in partnership with the West Greeley Conservation District. And that will be housed in Houston Gardens in Greeley. So there is still time if you're watching this on July 15th to probably sign up for that, and then reach out if it is after that and we can see what we can do. So then this week is really about this overview, and we'll get into that in just a second. So week 2, we'll send out activities next Friday, July 22nd, and this will be all about water delivery designs and how water delivery works and what systems are in place to get water from the rain or snow or mountaintop all the way down to the end use. Our second Water Wednesday will be July 27th, where we'll highlight some student work from week 1. So anything you see today, we'll start highlighting next week, which will be amazing and fun to see all of your activities. And then week 3, we'll send out activities on July 29th, and this will be all about exploring careers in water. So if you've ever wondered what opportunities there are, or maybe if you know of anyone who is looking to kind of find their future career or think about careers, this will be the perfect week for them. And even if not, it just gives you things to think about, because as many of you all know, like parents or even kids, there's so many jobs out there that they don't always teach you in school. Teach you about like the doctors, the lawyers, the engineers, teachers, but are they teaching you about a ditch rider or a hydrologist or other really important water careers that we will need filled one day? Then that Water Wednesday will start us into August, and we'll have Water Wednesday number 3, where we'll highlight student work from the water delivery designs. And then our last and fun week will all be about how to be a water advocate. And that weekly activity will be sent out similar to this, where there'll be like a presentation, and that will be sent out August 5th. And then that Water Wednesday will highlight again the week before what you learned about in water careers. And that's our 4-week program. So if you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out. So this week is all about understanding how water gets from the sky to its end use. If you're following along in our activity booklet, the pages to focus on are going to be 3 through 5, which are listed right here, and 10 through 11. And during today's presentation, we're going to take a look at the water cycle to give you extra information and set up some of the activities that we have planned for you all later on in the next few weeks. I'll let you all pause the video now because you might want to grab your printed activity booklet, a notes page, and a pencil. Welcome back. So if you are following along in our activity booklet, you're going to want to turn to the water cycle and return flows page. So pages around this, you'll see that there's a lot of water users. And how do we have enough water for all of those users? Because the water that falls in the sky doesn't serve all of these purposes. It gets reused and recycled. So this page shows you, okay, if water goes into agriculture, it can run off and go back into the stream. It's going to come back up for water treatment, go to municipalities. And if it runs off, for example, when you see it rain and it goes into the sewer system, right through those graded pipes on the street, it'll go back into the river, then it comes out and we have it in lakes for recreation or skiing or anything else. It can come back in and go to parks. It also gets lost to soil percolation and it goes all the way down. So today we're going to dive into why this all happens and what's the background science of what's going on here. You're going to want to turn to this page in your activity booklet. And we're going to first start talking about our physical state of water. And in this word bank, we said to Google the words or have a grown-up help you with definitions, but you're already watching, so we're going to help give you and walk you through all the answers. So evaporation happens when the water goes from a liquid to a gas. And that rate depends on the air temperature, how much moisture is in the air. And a great example of this is the natural hot springs. So because this water is heating up right in here, these natural hot springs are like nature's hot tubs if you've never heard of them. And all of this water is heated up right in here naturally, but the air outside, if it's really cold up here, the water will evaporate into the air and become this gas state. So that's when we have fog or water vapor, which is a lot of what this could be called. Our next physical state is the transition from a gas to a liquid. And that is called condensation. So condensation is where we get our clouds. It changes throughout the day because of our air temperature and what evaporation is doing. A very cool place to see this happening is either on the side of your drinks. I don't know if you can see that, but it's condensating on the side. You can also see your plants have condensation. Oh, it switched back. Your plants have condensation, but that is where a gas goes into a liquid. Our next physical state you might know a lot about is freezing. It's also known as solidification, and it is the phase where a liquid turns into a solid. So you see this in all of your freezer. Maybe you have some ice cubes right around you. It also happens with the oceans. So as we can see here, there's a lot of frozen ice right here. But what happens when all of that ice, turns into a liquid, is when water transforms from a solid to a liquid due to a temperature change. So that happens again if you see the snow melting from the summer sun or the sun hitting the snow, or maybe it's because you just took a fresh popsicle out of the freezer and it's melting in your hand. Our next two states are some things that don't get talked about very much, and that's sublimation and deposition. So let's start with sublimation. So sublimation is when you go from a solid to a gas, and that is because it completely skips this liquid step. So if you have ever seen dry ice, that is exactly what's happening to dry ice. Dry ice, you take it out of like the freezer or its container and you take it out and it starts sublimating. So it immediately goes from this solid state. It looks like an ice cube, but it's definitely not an ice cube. Don't put them in your water. You put them in it's like an ice cube type form, and it's going directly into a gas. And as you can see, it's flowing off the spoon right here. You can see how it's frozen on that spoon too because of the metal of the spoon. And the next one we're going to talk about is when you go from a gas to a solid, and that is called deposition. So deposition is when the substance in gas form changes states to become a solid. So this happens when it also skips this liquid phase. You can see deposition in the winter sometimes when you get these crystallized features on plants. So now that we've talked about all the physical states of water, let's get into this water cycle thing that we've been talking about. So the water cycle is also referred to as the hydrological cycle. And the hydrological cycle is what makes all of the water flow and move around. So key things to note here is that there is an ocean, And ocean water is usually, can you say it? Salty. Ocean water is usually salty. And so that water is a separate kind of water. And here in Colorado, we don't have any oceans. So you probably, if you haven't seen an ocean already, maybe didn't know that that is salt water and not like the water here called fresh water. So fresh water comes from when the rain directly goes into all of this environment. And we'll get into the breakdown of how that rain gets separated out. But an interesting part is it still rains in the ocean. So you'll get water everywhere. So condensation happens when, again, we just talked about it in our physical states here. Condensation happens when a gas goes into a liquid. So sometimes people will talk about this in a way of saying the clouds just get way too heavy and they need to rain it all out. So they need, when we get that rain, that's called precipitation. And precipitation is either rain or snow or other things like hail or sleet, all depending on the temperature of the day. So let's say it's snowing, and that's because it's below 32 degrees outside. So it's the water is freezing in the air before it reaches the mountains or wherever else it's going. So in Colorado's mountains, you see these iced snow caps, and those snow caps stay like that all winter long until spring. When spring comes, it's because the earth is shifting and we're moving closer to the equator, and the sun is hitting those mountains and melting all of that water into snow melt. That snow melt is what makes Colorado's water system thrive and work the way it does. Another way we don't want to skip is when it doesn't freeze and it just rains everywhere. So right now in the summer, if you're watching this right now, we might be getting a lot of rain in the afternoons because maybe those clouds are just getting so heavy throughout the day. And with the sun and all of the other elements going on in the sky, they just need to let it all out. That water gets stored into things like lakes and reservoirs. It also goes down into the soil again for deep soil percolation. There's groundwater flow that transfers all of this water back and forth. And also, plants, they pick up this water, they send it out, and it transpires into the air. And so, as you can see, this becomes a very big cycle. And that is key to, again, how our water resources work and how they operate. So now it's your turn. We are going to, this week, focus on water cycle diagrams, really making sure you all understand what's going on and how that cycle is working. So to do that, here are some ideas we have that can help you walk through these. We're going to make a diagram of some sorts. So here are some ideas that we have for your water cycle diagrams. Our first idea is to take out your chalk and go outside and draw this cycle to really understand what's going on in these things. Our second idea is to take maybe some extra cardboard boxes that you have. I know it was just Amazon Prime Day, so your parents might have some extra cardboard boxes laying around, and find all the supplies around your house, maybe some paint to paint your cardboard, crayons, markers, and you're going to make a cardboard box water cycle diagram. And here's some examples of what that can look like. Our next idea is if you love to be on the computer or you love using a tablet, here's some ideas you could do too. You could take the same Google Slides I just presented to you all, and you could record yourself presenting or teaching these slides to a younger sibling, your stuffed animals, or some other way. You can also make a poster using canva.com. And for those of you whose parents or you might have Adobe Photoshop, you can also make something like this, but Canva is a free option if you have an account. Next, you can do a painting or a drawing. As you can see here, some drawings with some mixed media. We have some markers, probably some crayons, maybe some cutout words. This one's all crayon and colored pencil, it looks like, and this is a watercolor painting. Maybe you go ahead and do a painting or a drawing this week. You can also do the water cycle activity in a bag. And so this is an example of what that looks like. And in the comments below this PowerPoint, I'll show you how to get there. You can go ahead and click this. And if you do double click it twice, you can copy and paste it into your Google Doc or your browser, and it will help you like kind of walk through this activity. Our next examples are just some extra activities that you can use, or some videos to help you kind of understand that. You can quiz yourself, you can play the water cycle games. This is a virtual video game, and this is an at-home game. However you choose to participate, we ask that you tag or send DARCA your progress pictures so we can feature you on DARCA's social media, or just to kind of see your progress and just let us know if you'd like that to be featured or not. Well, we are so excited to kick off this program, and we will see you all back here next Friday to learn more about what the next weeks of activities looks like. Thank you and have a great day.